guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, I have Dan here with me today and we are going to be doing a Q&A as promised. I asked on my last video as well as on my Instagram if you guys had any questions, and a whole bunch of you did. The vast majority of them are for Dan. None of you wanted to know anything about me, so this is mostly going to be me asking questions to Dan and just a few from me. So anything you want to say?
You guys have good taste.
It's very true. So let's get started. So first question is, how long did it take you from deciding, yep, this is the year I'm going to propose, to actually designing the ring, getting it sorted, thinking about the proposal, and then actually proposing? Sounds like this was in the works for some time and you seem to have really wanted the element of surprise. Lots of questions were like this and just asking for your point of view about the proposal and your thought process and why the street performer and everything like that.
That question was pretty much longer than my answer. Okay, so the idea came to be about a year ago when I was flying back from a stag do for the person who actually made the ring. So yeah, Manish. And I was flying back with my best friend, who will be my best man, and we were discussing when it would happen, how it would happen, and all these kinds of things. So I don't really like to do things that traditionally. I quite like to be a bit out there or do things that people aren't expecting. So I started thinking like, right, what can I do that'll be a bit out there? I'd seen a few things like on YouTube before as well.
The kidnap one.
No, the kidnap one sucks. Sorry if you're watching, but it sucks.
I would say no if you did that to me.
Yeah, like there was a cool one like a movie cinema. So a girl was like watching a trailer, and it was her soon-to-be fiance asking her dad for, you know, the daughter's hand, but you couldn't see them. It was like focus blurry on their legs, but she was like, they sound like, is that? And then it became clear, and then you had him running towards the cinema, running back, stopping for popcorn, as you do, then running into the cinema and then proposing there. That was the best one that I saw. I didn't really want to copy anything, so I ended up going down more the treasure hunty route. That was where it started. So, for example, the key that she had in her bag, that was meant to be something that her mum asked to pick up from a cobbler. So, oh Amy, you know, I've had this key, it wasn't working, can you pick it up while you're in Leicester Square? That type of thing. And there were meant to be a few things like that that all led to her being able to open this box. So you're meant to like gain knowledge, and he was meant to ask you a question that you just happened to know the answer to, and it was a bit obscure. But the stars didn't really align for that, so we had to kind of, you know, just incorporate a couple of the elements, and then yeah, there we were.
Wow, there we go. How long did it take to plan?
Well, this is it, like,
I guess it was quite fluid, which is why I was saying that I didn't have any sense of it, because it wasn't like really regimented or anything. It was just very off the cuff. The
idea didn't really develop that much from that flight. Like, I'd say it actually got cut down more than anything because things weren't necessarily possible. Even finding like the street performer, so I tried to find like a couple of people who were on TV. So there are a couple like magicians in the UK, like there's someone called Troy. Tried to reach out to him on Twitter, just no, didn't happen. So then I started reaching out to different people, and then the guy who organises all of the street performers in Leicester Square, known only as the Joker. Like literally in my phone is the Joker, known only as the Joker. It's like pretty weird, pretty cool.
Does that make you Batman?
Well, probably no, I wasn't trying to arrest him. Like. What? Anyway, so yeah, got in touch with the Joker. He put me in touch with Chris, who he said would be perfect for this. Brought him over, we all had a chat.
He was really good.
Yeah, he was good. And he was quite keen to help, and you know, he was really good like on the fly. So like, Amy didn't turn up in time, and he was like, is she? And I was like, no. And he was like, okay, I'll go around.
Had a bit to drink. Time wasn't really my main focus. Yeah,
so like I had to get our friends involved because I knew that getting her into the middle of the circle might be quite difficult. So, you know, bit of Prosecco helps.
Always.
So her friends were involved, tried to get more of them involved, but, you know, I think Julie was in...
Italy.
Yeah, Julie was in
Barcelona.
Italy. Okay, so Julie was abroad, your other friend was in Scotland,
Helen was in
Dubai. Yeah, literally, she's got like, close friends were just scattered all over the place. But a few of her core friends were there. We all went to the pub, discussed it, what'll work, what won't work. And they were quite instrumental on the day when Amy was like, no, Dan, I don't want to meet you in Leicester Square. Come here. And I was like, no. Like, frantically messaging them like, you need to get her here
because we were in Lincoln's Inn and I'd already said it to him, and so he messaged me saying that he was Leicester Square, and I thought he just got them confused because they both began with L. And I was like, why are you so stupid? I said Lincoln's Inn.
Yeah. So I was like, guys, you need to get her here now. And then Amy messaged me, oh, we might be leaving. And I was like, yes. So yeah, we got it all set up. I had someone there to film it. Me and Amy's mom went for a quick drink beforehand. And yeah, just kind of had to wait and hope it all played out. There was always the bailout option where if Amy wasn't going to come into the middle of the circle because she was scared or whatever it might have been, that everyone knew that we'd just have to go off and have our dinner and, you know, call it a day.
Really? If I didn't come into the circle, it was going to be off?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I went into the circle.
Yeah, because, like, again, like, you've just mentioned that, like, kidnapping thing. There was no way that I wanted it to be, like, tainted or...
Oh, yeah.
If you were all, like, stressy and like, no, I don't want to come, or anything like that. I didn't want to be like...
The Prosecco really was key. That was a very good shout on your part.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, literally, I was like, okay, she's getting there a bit late. You guys need to get her drinking quickly.
Sarah shows up with, like, a bottle.
Yeah. But this is it. I didn't want to be like, okay, now you're all stressed because I've been trying to get you into the circle. You've not wanted it. Here's your ring catch. Like,
yeah.
It could have never been.
Oh my
that.
god, throwing me anything wouldn't have done. Wouldn't have helped.
Yeah. So that was how that played out. And everyone did a good job.
Next question is, I'd love to know when you both individually realised this is the person I want to marry. I think we've discussed this and have come to the conclusion there was no one moment.
There was.
It's a gradual thing of, hey, we're still together, this is a good sign.
Yeah, like, I'd say we're a good team. So, like, and we've said this before, like, we are good friends. And I think we both had relationships in the past where had you have not had whatever spark that you had with each other, you wouldn't have been friends. And I think, for me, that's been the most enlightening thing, saying, actually, when things happen, I want to tell you, I want your opinion, I want whatever it might be. Yeah, so, like, I don't think there was a moment, but friendships grow as well, so it is that kind of thing.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, if we threw that back and said to whoever asked the question, when did you become best friends with your best friend, as opposed to just friends, you'd be like, don't really know.
Yeah, it was definitely a gradual thing. And then it just kind of became natural that we would, because we also talk in hypotheticals quite a lot, so we always like say, what if we did this or what if we did that? And so we talked about marriage quite early on, I feel, and then it just, you know, we knew that we both wanted kids and that, you know, that was just a natural thing, and the fact that we stayed together meant that we probably wanted them together, and it just so where do you see yourself getting married? When are you planning on getting married? What sort of theme? So this is kind of two questions from two different people. What sort of theme are you thinking about? What colour theme are you most likely going to follow? So Dan's super on the wedding planning, as you can imagine.
I like getting those same things. She was like, Dan, what colour do you like? I was like, blue. She was like, so we're going with white and pink.
You can't have blue for flowers, like that would cost a fortune.
Are your flowers going to be particularly cheap?
Well, no flowers are cheap, but I'm sure that finding all blue flowers, it's going to be expensive. But anyway, so next year, summer 2018, most likely France. We haven't looked at any venues yet, obviously, but we're going to look, I think, in May. So fingers crossed those work out, and if they do, then it'll be France. I don't think we have a theme. We basically just want it to be a really fun party, and I think we both said that we don't want it to be really formal or stiff, and we're not going to have a massive wedding. I think we're thinking at like 60 to 70 probably. Is that right? He has more people than I do, so is that right?
Yeah, like, I want it to be as small as possible, but then there's always those politics of you have to invite those extra few people. So I'm going to minimise that. I'm fairly strong-minded in terms of I'm happy to say
you didn't make the cut. I just don't like you enough.
No, it's one of those things where, and I think most people probably would think this was quite strange, but those people who I only see at weddings and christenings and funerals and that kind of thing, I don't want to spend my time on that day with them instead of the people who I'm actually close to, who call me up to say, Dan, hi, how are you, you know, and that kind of thing. Yeah. So for me, it's a case of I have a day to spend with my closest people, and I don't want to dilute that out catching up with people who I haven't seen in forever because we're not actually that close. So for me, it's more friends than it is family.
I think we both said that we don't want to spend the day hosting and kind of being on best behaviour and things like that. We just want to have our closest friends and family and the people that we really love and just have an amazing time with them, because you don't get to do that very often, I think. And so we just want it to be like about us. We don't want it to be like you should do this and you shouldn't do that. Like, that's not kind of,
Yeah.
I think, what we're going to go for. Colour theme, haven't decided yet. I've been pinning... I'm thinking all white or mostly white with a bit of pink or something like that. I don't think we'll go for anything too bright, and I'm aware that Dan isn't really the biggest fan of kind of super girly things, so I'm gonna try and tone it down as much as possible, but realistically it's a wedding, you can't have a masculine wedding, like, it's just not possible, so no.
Okay.
May I ask how long the two of you have been together? It's 4.5 years, I think.
What's October, is it? So
Yeah.
where are we now? Yeah, about 4.5.
Yeah. Do you think that married life will change you?
No.
No. Agreed.
I don't really think it makes a massive difference. Like, we're already living together,
We're already financially entwined.
yeah,
In the
because
sense
we've got
of
like a
mortgage,
mortgage
so-
and things like that. So to us, I don't think it makes a huge difference. I think it just is one step on the way to kids, because I don't think
Yeah.
that we'd have kids before we got married.
No.
I have no basis for that, but for some reason
The done thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think there was a question about kids. Yes, of course we want kids. Well, not of course, but we do want kids.
Yeah.
There was a question about how many and how far apart. I think we're pretty much open. We just want to see what happens. No, okay,
That's not
that's-
true at all. I want to go until we have boys. Amy wants to go until we have girls.
I would love to have a girl and a boy. Dan would only like to have boys.
I'm quite scared of having a daughter. Like, I'm massively protective over anyone, even like guy mates of mine. Like, if they ever get into trouble, I'm usually the first one to make sure that everything's fine. Girl mates even more so. Amy even more so. If I have a daughter, I'm just gonna have a heart attack every day. It's just like, it's not that the love won't be there, it's probably that the love will be there too much, and you know, yeah, it's just scary.
Girls are good. Expensive, but good. Last two questions. What is his or her best quality? So what's my best quality and what I think your best quality is?
Your choice in men. No, I go for two like opposite things. So, and in fact, it's almost like if we went back to like gender stereotypes from like 50 years ago or whatever it might be. One is very female, which is like you're very caring and like, you know, you do nice things quite a lot and just like to be, you know, what would be like a nice 50s housewife, which she's not at all, but she'll just be like, oh, eat some chocolate, just because she knows that I like food.
He loves food.
But then going the other way is what would be more of a male stereotypical role from like the 1950s is you are very kind of like business minded and ambitious and, you know, you want to take up the world. And somehow you've got like both of these things, which shouldn't necessarily be viewed as opposite things, but probably are. And, you know, you mash them together quite well. That'd be mine.
Oh gosh, what yours now? I would say, I mean, I think the thing that everyone else would say about Dan is that he's very loyal, and he has like the fiercest loyalty. I don't really see that as much because obviously he's going to be loyal to me and like, you know, our close family or friends because that's what you do with friends. So for me personally, Dan is just very competent, which sounds like such a like not impressive thing, but with anything, I can come to him with any problem about anything in my life, whether that's at work or friends, and he just, if he doesn't know the answer, he can work through it very logically, and I just feel like, and even if it's not something like that, but it's a strength thing, like whatever I go to him about, he'll be able to help, and he feels very safe because of that. You know, he always has the answer, he's someone I know I can depend on, and that I really like.
But the loyalty thing, as much as I appreciate that, because I think loyalty is like hugely important, part of that is like a bit of a Chris Rock joke. It's kind of like, I take care of my kids. It's like, well, do you want a cookie? You're meant to. Like, for me, I'm kind of like, people should be loyal anyway, but you know.
I'm sure you'll take the cookie as well. Yeah. Okay, last question. And I'm gonna go for this one because I think lots of people probably wonder, what do you think of my luxury purchases? Did it bother you at the beginning of our relationship / even now? Do you care? Lots of people wonder this.
Yeah, not really. Like, I think a lot of people would if our finances were mixed, but they're like completely separate, so it doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, normally I'd be like, it's a bad investment, but then Amy comes back with, well, actually, her bags are becoming more valuable year on year, so I don't even really have that point. Some of the things I'm like, do you really need a 6 identical bag or top? Or because I don't really see the difference between them. She'll be there like, no, but this one works because it's only light taupe, simple. I don't know, she invents colours and then she says one's a light version, one's a dark colour. And for me, they were all pink in the first place. But yeah, I don't get it. I think it's over the top, but it doesn't really affect me. Like, no, it doesn't make a difference. Like, there's no point where I'm paying for them, so it doesn't matter.
And I know this, that's fine.
Yeah. So, Amy can no longer speak. Somehow the words, they're not just coming out.
They're just not.
There's something along the lines of, thanks for now, bye guys. Not really sure what the words are, but thanks for tuning in. Thumbs up, thumbs down, hokey pokey, left foot in, right foot out, something like that.
Pretty much. Thank you for asking questions. I'm sorry if we didn't get to yours. I'll see you next time. Dan, we'll probably see you in a future video, hopefully.
See you guys.
Bye guys.